ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। हरि ओम। In these few days, we are going to study Shvetashvatar Upanishad. The study of any Upanishad begins with a Shanti Path. This Upanishad belongs to the Yajurveda, and the Shanti Path is most famous one, and I am sure you all know it. So let us chant that together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari. Remembering the Lord as Om, we pray that Sahana Bhavatu, may that Lord protect us both, the teacher and the taught, Guru and Shishya, speaker and the listener. Protect means, one protection is the physical protection. We should enjoy good health. That is one. Second is, he should protect our bhavana, our good intention of studying this. Because you know what happens, many times we have got good intentions and our good thoughts we want to do, but our mind changes very fast. So Bhagavan, now that we want to study this, see that we maintain this quest for knowledge. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, and may he make us enjoy. Enjoy what? Now since we are studying, so what the prayer is, may we both enjoy the fruit of study and fruit of knowledge. That's what is important. Sahanau Bhunaktu, may he make us enjoy the fruit of study. And the fruit of study is the knowledge, to gain that knowledge. And the fruit of knowledge is that great bliss. Sahanau Bhunaktu. But for that, both of us will have to put forth effort. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. God Bhagavan may say, you want everything from me, that I should protect you and I should, but what are you going to do then? No, we will also do our part. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Together we'll put forth effort. So the teachers must put forth effort to study, to teach, to clarify. And also the student also must tune the mind and learn. Suppose the teacher says the students are not interested in learning, and the student says the teacher is not interesting. So then problem will be there. So the teacher has to be interesting in teaching, and students have to be interested. Then put forth effort. Tejasvina avadhitamastu. Tejasvina adhitamastu. And whatever we learn, we study, may it be bright and brilliant. Bright and brilliant means when we need that knowledge, we should remember. So We study in Vedanta, I am not this body, I am Ananda Atma. But something happens to the body, and then we say, oh, at that time only we forget it. What is the use then? So a student, before going to examination hall knows everything. After 3 hours also he knows. Only during that period he doesn't remember anything. So what is the use? So saha viryam karavavahe tejasvinavadetamastu and ma vidvishavahi. Very important is, maybe not dislike each other or hate each other, or the most importantly, there may not be hatred or dislike, but sometimes misunderstanding takes place, Particularly if there are many students are there, so some students feel that teacher is very partial to somebody. Some kind of things may happen. So there should not be any misunderstanding between us. So even if positive love is not there, at least misunderstanding should not be there. If positive love and reverence is there, then it is very good. Tejasvinavadetamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let there be peace on all sides. Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik, they say, in the surrounding, there should not be any disturbance. And from phenomenal forces also, and from one's own self. In my own body, in my own mind, no problem should arise. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is the Shanti part. And now we see what is the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Sometimes to pronounce it also is difficult. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So we say Shveta Ashvatara Upanishad. Shvetashvatara, not Shveta Shvetar. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. See, Upanishad, Shabdena Brahma Vidya Uchyate. By the word Upanishad, what is meant is Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. And what is that knowledge of Brahman? That will be revealed in this Upanishad anyway, so we will study that. Now the name, Shveta Ashvatara Upanishad. Now there are many sometimes interpretations and all that. In this Upanishad there are 6 chapters and there are 112 mantras. So in the last chapter, it is mentioned that there was a Brahmajnani, he was called Shvetashvatar. So it is the name of the Guru or Rishi. And he taught this knowledge to the disciples of great caliber. So that's called Shvetashvatar, is the name of the Rishi. That's said in the end. But then some people want to point out the meaning also of that. Now Shveta Ashvatara. Shveta means everybody knows. Shveta means black. Shveta means white. And white stands for purity. So purity, pure. Now Ashvatara. See, Ashva means a horse. But when you say Ashvatara, it's a calf. Not the grown-up horse, but of the species of horse, but not horse. That is called Ashvatara. So then we say, in the local regional bhasha, it is called Khachar also. Ashvatara, white Khachar. So Shveta Ashvatara, what is the meaning? So Shveta Ashvatara is a name, is a title. Actually it means of a person of spiritual eminence. Shveta means pure. Ashva, one meaning is horse. And in the Upanishadic lore, you know that horses stand for senses, sense organs. So Shvetashvatara, if you look at the meaning in that way, That means a person whose senses are pure, pure means free from likes and dislikes. The mind is free from likes and dislikes. And the senses are under control. That is called Shvetashvatara. A person of purity of mind having control over the senses. That person is called Shvetashvatara. Another quality of Ashva is we find out it is very swift, fast. And that's why the horse galloping. Now, what does it mean? The one has got purity, that is indicated by the word Shveta. And Ashvatara means swift, alert, agile, prompt. All these meanings are there, dull, nayam atma balahinena lambya. This atma cannot be gained by a very weak person and a weakling. Such a person can't do it. But it must be swift, fast. Man of action also it should be. So purity, agility, and alertness, mastery, all these things are indicated. Sometimes somebody feels or says, the Lord is very strange. He can reveal this knowledge through anything. If you read Matsya Purana, Bhagavan's Matsya Avatar, the fish, that Matsya used to talk with that Satyavrat Raja, and then all knowledge was revealed. So through the mouth of a fish also Bhagavan revealed that knowledge. Now Narsimha Bhagavan came half man, half lion. There also he gave that knowledge. You see, Varaha Avatar. So somebody says, it is through the mouth of even Ashvatara he revealed the knowledge. All the details we really do not know. But the best thing to understand is, this Upanishad is revealed by a master who has purity. And as I said, the alertness, the one who has got a mastery over the senses, and that person has revealed this knowledge. And to create other rishis, this knowledge was revealed. And this is called Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Now, most of the time we find in the Upanishad, a student is going and approaching the master, asking a question. Here it begins with a study class. It appears that many students were learning from a master, and he must have taught them Shravanam, then go and do some Chintan Mananam, One is an individual reflection, and other is a group study. So I think there is a group study. Because as you read the Upanishads, the beginning itself, you will find there are all the seekers of knowledge. They are together and they are discussing. That's how the Upanishad begins. The style of this Upanishad is very unique and very wonderful. And I won't speak more about that in the introduction, but as you read and as you go along, you will see what is the special feature of this and beauty of that. So as we study, we'll bring that to the notice. Okay? So we begin, because we have a few lectures, limited time, and there are 112 mantras are there. Of course, there is one way of teaching, that I teach few mantras and say next is home study. That's homework now, you go and read only. Right? But I think you will not like it very much. That's Now chapter 1. So after introduction, the page 1. Okay? I think you all have got the book. Because many people thought I will speak only on introduction, so I will not start or anything. But in India, not only India, there are cricket playing teams and in different countries. And there are different forms of cricket game. Now, you are Indian, so you must be knowing. There is one called test match, which goes very slowly for 5 days. And still result doesn't come out sometime. 3 days match also that is there. Then limited over match that is called 50 over. Then other match called fast, very fast. It's called T20. Only 20 overs, T20 match. And the T20 match, the format, you have to start making run from the first ball. That's what I'm doing now. In the test match, you have got enough time to settle down and watch. And here, nothing, you have to start. So here I'm starting now. And I said, as we study the mantras, we'll learn about all the Upanishads and every aspect of that. Okay. Harihi Om Brahmavadino Vadanti. Kim Karanam Brahma Kutasma Jata Jivamakena Kvacha Sampratishtha Adhisthitaha Kena Sukhe Tareshu Vartamahe Brahma Vido Vyavastham. It's a prose. Om Harihi Om. See, in our mission we say, no, Harihi Om. Harihi is the remover of all dukkha, sorrow. Om is Brahma, Ananda Brahma. So one is a Saguna aspect, one is Nirguna aspect. So when we greet in our, at least in my mission, when we say Hari Om, what we mean? May all your sorrows end and may you be happy. That is the meaning actually. You understand? Hari Om. It sounds Hari Home also. So, but that also is a very good meaning because we have to make a home run. So we have to Hari Om. Now Brahmavadino Vadanti. Brahmavadinaha means here the seekers of knowledge of Brahman. That's called Brahmavadi. These are not the enlightened persons, but they are still seekers. So they have got a study group, study class is there. Now here in this mantra one word is there, Brahma Vido Vyavastham. So that Brahma Vidaha is a vocative case. In Sanskrit language, a vocative means, O seekers of Brahman here, not knowers of Brahman. That's like, last time, Adhisthita kena sukhe tareshu vartamahe Brahma Vido Vyavastham. So then they are discussing, O seekers of Brahma Vidya, there are some questions that we have to really discuss. What is the question? Kim Karanam? Number one, Kim Karanam. Kim Karanam? What is the cause? Cause of what? You see, remember, this Upanishad, Vidya, is an enquiry. See, one is called the religious life, when we are involved in many, many rituals and ceremonies and festivals and all that, that's called a religious life. Spiritual life, when you say, it begins with the quest and enquiry into the knowledge. Knowledge of what? Not of physics or chemistry or economics or electronics or IT industries. Not that. See, there are two things. One is I am the knower, and other thing is a world of objects that I know. So here the enquiry, either it begins with who am I, or it begins with what is this world, what is the cause of this world, what is the origin of this world. So when it is a Kim Karanam, Means, kim karanam jagataha, the world that we see in front of us, what is the cause of it? What is the origin of it? And they are not inquiring the cause of one particular thing of this world, but the total world. We'll see that. Then suddenly one word is there, Brahma. So suppose somebody says, haven't you read in the Upanishad, Brahma is the cause of that. So then the question, Kim Brahma? What is Brahman? Or, Kim Brahma Jagat Karanam? Is this Brahman, what is called as Brahman, the infinite one, that is indicated in the Upanishad, is that Brahman the cause of this world? So, the same can be read in this way. Kim Karanam, what is the cause of this world? Kim Brahma Karanam? Is Brahman the Karanam of this world? If you say yes, then what is that Brahman? Kim Brahma? What is Brahma? What is its nature? We'll see all the questions here, then we'll again think. Kutasma jata. From where are we all born? From where we have come? Kena jivamaha, jivama kena. And by what we are living? Born, all right. But then we are living also. How are we sustaining our life? By what? Kvacha sampratishtaha. So where we are from born and how we are living and sampradaya, where is the ultimate rest for us? Means after death, where are we going? Where are we going to abide? Kvacha sampratishtaha. And adhishtitaha kena. Adhishtaha. Presided over by whom? Under whose governance? Vartamahe vyavastham. We are living in this vyavastha means management and arrangement of things. And what is that? Sukha itareshu. Sukha means joy and itara means dukkha. What is that which is governing this law or the system of happiness, unhappiness? We feel sorrow, we feel joy. What is that? How many questions are there? Kim karanam brahma kutasma jata jivama kena kvacha sampratishta adhisthita kena sukha tareshu vartamahe brahma vida he brahma vida. So this question is put before them. Because somebody may be a moderator. And that moderator is putting this question in from, this is what we have to discuss, or this is what the Guru has asked us to discuss now. Now, those people who are completely engrossed only in worldly things, worldly matters, worldly pursuits, they may not even understand the need of all this. Why are you just thinking, the world is there. Why you are bothered from where it has come? Let it be whatever the origin is there, There is no need of it. And from where are we born? What a question. Don't you know you are born from your mother's womb? Huh? Don't know that much. And jivama keno. We live with what? Baba, food and drink, that's all. You stop eating, then you see you end. So it is. Atho anne naiva jivanti, but anne naiva. Only by food we are just living only. If you don't eat, don't drink and all that, you are gone. So by food only we are living. Or the pranas, the shwasochwas that is going on. So that breathing is going on. By that we are living. Very good. And Kvacha Sampratishtha. Final goal. Death. And death, we know what happens then. We know what will happen to the body and all that. And adhisthita kena sukha itareshu vyavastham vartamahe. What joy and sorrow. When we get thing of our like, we are happy. And when we don't get thing of our like, we are unhappy. Simple. There are simple answers to complicated questions. Isn't it true? They say, yes, there are simple questions to complex, simple answers to complex questions. They are very straight and simple and wrong. You call it wrong, or you say only from a superficial standpoint, whatever say that is true. But we are inquiring, and we are inquiring not into the superficial causes that everybody knows, but this Upanishad Vidya is meant for inquiring into the absolute truth. So that's what we are inquiring into. So, kim karanam brahma kutasma jata jivama kena kvacha sampratishtha adhisthita kena sukha itareshu artamahe brahma vido vyavastham. When we start thinking about this, we will get many answers. That such and such thing is the cause of this world, which is indicated in the next mantra. Because they also start thinking. Because one question they think, they say that Brahma is the cause of this world, but Brahman is infinite, and that is one alone without a second, they say. So that infinite Brahman, how can it be the cause of this world which is conditioned by time, space and all that? Generally, philosophically it is put, how can the absolute be the cause of relative things? Or imperishable or infinite be the cause of this world, ever changing this world? It doesn't seem to be all right. And if it is not that, then if you say Brahman is not the cause, then what can be the cause? So many possibilities are given in the next mantra. And then each one also is refuted. If you don't accept Brahman as the cause, then you have to point out something else. And there are so many philosophers, thinkers, logicians, scientists, and theologians, and all of them are also pointing out some cause. But then again we have to think whether all these causes which are pointed out, whether they are right or not. Somebody says, but my fundamental question is, why should you even inquire? That you are not answering, Why should you think? My most important question is whether Brahman is the cause or something else is the cause. But why should we inquire? That is really a big question. So why should we inquire? So the answer is, the need of inquiry is, if we do not inquire, we'll never come to know what the truth is. Right? Because if you don't inquire, you don't know the truth of anything. And then if you do not know truth, then what happens is, whatever is untruth, that itself is taken for the truth. So then we live under illusory notions, naturally. And that's what is happening also. So why we have to inquire? Because if we don't inquire, we don't know what the truth is. And if you don't know what the truth is, Only the untruth, because some experiences are already there in front of us. And that untruth, unreal itself will be taken as real. And when unreal is taken as real, and we live under that wrong notion, the suffering is bound to be there then. Therefore, we have to know the truth. I am walking on the road during daytime and my shadow is fallen. Suppose I think the shadow is me. Then, you know what happens? One truck ran over the shadow. And because I thought that is me, so I started. And once it so happened that not the real truck passed over it, the shadow of another truck only ran over it, and then also I sat down. Now only when I give some exaggerated some example, then only it will become, oh yes, isn't it necessary that I have to find out whether the shadow is me or this body is me, which is the real one, and something was ran over, it was my shadow, isn't it? So the point to be understood is, if you don't know what the truth is, the untruth is taken as truth. The falsehood only is taken as real. And when such a mistake is committed, then the result is nothing but sorrow, and that also concentrated, not dilute also. Concentrated sorrow, anxiety, fear, and whatnot, all of them are the results of this lack of inquiry only. Oh, you are making this matter very serious, so that means I have to inquire. I have to inquire. So simple answers will not do that. I am born from my mother's womb, and then I am living by food and water and air. I have to find out something deeper. Still there is a deeper thing. Because remember, only because man is living because of water and food and air, all the things are all the time there. Still, why does he die then? Huh? Food is there, water is there, oxygen लगा देते हैं. That's the Kathovisha says, na pranena, na apanena martya jivati. Question. Man does not live because of prana, apana and all that. If you live by food and air or water, so we are eating enough. We should not die at all. So there is something different. And kvacha sampratishtaha, where are we? And what is this vyavastha under the governance of what that we experience joy, sorrow and all those things? Kim karanam. And if Brahma is not the cause, then what is the cause? And if Brahman is the cause, then what kind of cause it is? Is it only material cause of this world? Or it is only efficient cause? Means only creator it is, not the material from which it is created. Or it is both, the creator also and the material also. And if he is that Brahman is the material also and the creator also, then what is the nature of the creation? Question and question and question. That's why one Upanishad is Question Upanishad. There is one Upanishad called Prashno Upanishad. Only Prashnas are asked, And a human being is blessed with the faculty of thinking. So however someone may say that don't ask questions, then you will ask why not? Why I should not ask questions? And that's what happens to many parents, that they tell their children, we never used to ask questions to our parents and all that. Then the children say, why you did not ask? You should have asked. Oh, yes. Or sooner or later, these questions do come to our mind then. Because the faculty is there. So if someone tells me not to ask questions, again I will ask, why not? Or even if I tell myself, I don't ask questions and all that unnecessarily, you just accept it. For some time it will go all right. Then say, but what is, acceptance to theek hai, but another, your own mind will also keep on asking, you cannot say, keep quiet. Keep quiet. How to keep quiet? See, once that the quest begins, you cannot stop. Therefore, we have to know, Kim karanam brahma kutasma jata jivama kena kwaja sampratishtha adhisthita kena sukha itareshu vartamahe brahmavido vyavastham. These are the questions. All right. Now they said, it is said, if Brahma is not the cause, because there are so many other thinkers, they point out one or the other thing as the cause of this world. And what are these? When you read this, you will realize that it's not something new that we are talking about now, that we are pointing out the physics or logicians or thinkers. They have thought about all these things. What are the things? If not Brahman, what are the other possible causes of this world? Now see. Kala swabhavo niyatir yadrucha bhutani yoni purusha iti chintya sanyoga esham natu atma bhavat atmapyanisha sukha dukkha heto. Now some people say, Brahma cannot be the cause, because Brahma is infinite, and that infinity cannot be the cause of this ever-changing world. If you say only to the material cause will undergo change. And only if he is a creator, then who created that matter? Again the question will remain there. If it is materially efficient both, then how does the creation come into being? What is its nature? I think something else only is the cause. What is that? Chintya. Chintya means it should be thought about. Let us consider, all these things are the causes of this world. Number one, kalaha. Kala means time. Time. In our all day-to-day life also, we say everything happens in time. Without time factor, nothing happens and all that. So therefore, if you look at the whole creation, everything appears to have taken place or born only in time. A child is born, immediately note what is the time of the birth. Time of the birth, and they make the chart also. So the time will decide इसकी life कैसे होने वाली है. The life will be time. And Indian trucks also it is written, नसीब से ज़्यादा समय से पहले कभी किसी को कुछ नहीं मिलता है. In the truck, it is written on the truck, more than what is there in your luck, and before time you will not get anything. So therefore, समय से पहले कुछ नहीं होता है. Time only, everything happens in time. Therefore, kalaha. Kala is the cause of this world. Okay. The other person says, no. Swabhavaha. Swabhava means it's the nature of things. To be born, that is the nature of thing. Whatever is the nature of that thing, that only happens. If that something is not in the nature, nothing happens, even if time is there. Oh, that also is true. यदि उसके स्वभाव में ही नहीं है तो व्हाट कैन यू डू देन? Like a roasted seed is there. Now even if you sow it there and all that, and time and enough time you give and all that, nothing happens there. है ही नहीं स्वभाव. There nothing is in the nature of that. So I think what is the cause of this? It's just a nature. Nature. Nature of things. Huh? Everything has got its own nature, and that alone only just manifests. That's all. Then say niyati. Someone say niyati. ये तो नियति है, भाग्य की नियति है. Niyati, something is determined. They say something is determined. That's called a law, also called niyati. The law of karma. It is a law that works and operates, and that's the fate of that thing. Sometimes niyati word is used for the law, sometimes for the rule, law, and fate, and all these things, you know. So it's a law of karma, and that really operates, and that is the cause of this world. Niyati. Others say yadrucha, chance, accident. It just happened. Actually, when man gets tired, no, then he says like yadrucha. But it is not an accident. Huh? That great well-known physicist, even Einstein, he said, no, God doesn't play dice with this universe and all that. It's not like that. And whatever in the world also you call at accident, if it is an accident, why do you inquire into what is the cause of it? Because then you don't deal with that as an accident, but only as an incident. So the train collided with each other. Why? There has to be some cause. When we do not know, at that time we say it is an accident. Yes. Accidentally, I happened to go there by chance. So, yadrucha means accident or by chance. If you say just by chance, accidentally something happened, then no scientific inquiry, investigation is possible. Because anything will happen. By chance, isn't it? But we know that it is not, there a specific law also is there. That's why when you sow the mango seed, then the mango only comes out. And orange means orange only, apple means apple only comes out. And human being, when they marry, only human child comes out. Otherwise, suppose suddenly something happened, accidentally, something else came out. I tell you, people will be so afraid of getting married also. पता नहीं क्या होगा. We don't know. अरे बाबा, no, don't do anything or not. Huh? So it is just not like that. Yadrucha, but by chance. What chance? Whose chance? So many questions still remain unanswered only. Kalaha, Swabhavaha, Niyati, Yadrucha. Somebody says Bhutani. Bhutani means these 5 elements. Space, air, fire, water, earth. They are the causes of this world, And the Charvakas, they don't accept even Akash also. Only 4 elements are the causes of that. That's all. And when you from a particular standpoint, if you look at it, everything will appear it is right. Yes, it is true, everything happens in time. We know that if it is in the nature of thing, only that will happen. If it's not in the nature of thing, it doesn't happen. Therefore, it is just in the nature of things that it has happened. That's all. And that's called the law. Just that happened, just chance. That's what Bhutani, the five elements. That also is true. If the five elements are not there, we don't find any world. And therefore, Bhutani is the cause. Bhutani yonihi. Now, yoni means cause, but yoni some people interpret as energy also. It is all energy. Because Bhutani is a matter and energy. But now physics also says the actually matter and energy, they are not two different things. But as you understand, ये तो सारे energy है, energy. Universal energy. Many people say, I don't believe in God. I believe only in energy. Oh. Why not? Because you need more energy to think about God. So you stop at energy only. Matter and energy. Bhutani yoni. Purusha iti chintya. Purusha, some will say intelligent principle or intelligent being. Individual. Somebody said, you are peculiar. Separately you are saying kala or swabhava. No. Sanyoga esham. All these factors together is the cause of this world. Like take the mango seed. So that seed has got its swabhava. Then you sow that in due course of time, according to the law, right? And then the act of matter, energy and all that, and then happens. You see, only kala, only swabhava, only niyati, only yadriksha. No. All together. Esham sanyoga. Combination of all that. That is what the cause of this. One thing you forgot. Who is the experiencer of all that? That Jiva is the cause of all this. But you say, but Atmapi Anishaha. That here Atma, what is used, the meaning of Jivatma, the individual self, that also cannot be pointed out as the cause of this, because Anishaha is also powerless. Sukha dukkha hetu, he also cannot cause the joy and sorrow and all that. Because every jiva also is born in a world which was already there. And no cooperative society also. Some jivas came together, association of people, and they formed and then created the world. They can create a corporate company and this and that is possible and all that, but not this world. And together they can create some confusion also. So he says, Kala swabhavo niyatir yadricha bhutani yoni purusha iti chintya sanyoga esham atmapi anishaha. So then they started thinking, is it individually anything is the cause of this world? Then they found, no. Why not? He said, no, because natu Atma Bhavat. That's the most important line to be underlined. Atma Bhavat is a one hetu. Because of that, all this is refuted then. First they say, is the Kalaha the cause of this world? We say, no. Why not? Atma Bhavat. Swabhavaha? No. Atma Bhavat. Niyati Yadrucha? No. Atma Bhavat. ये आत्मभाव कहाँ से लेके आ गए आप? आत्मभावात because of आत्मभाव, that आत्मभावात is a hetu to refute all this. So the first thought is Brahman is the cause, They say Brahman infinite, how that will be the cause of this? Then you say that these other things, these are the causes of this. Then in fact, these things also individually, collectively, also they cannot be the cause of this. Individual self also is anishaha. He is also born in the world which is there and helpless, powerless. He cannot be said to be the cause of the sukha, dukkha and all that. Then, this is not, why not? Because Atma Bhava. What is this Atma Bhava? We'll see in the next class.